46. Ta eva sabija samadhi. These concentrations are with seed. These do not destroy the seeds of past actions, thus cannot give liberation, but what they bring to the yogi is stated in the following aphorisms. 47. Nirvikaraveshurti adhyatma prasada. The concentration, without reasoning, being purified, the chit becomes firmly fixed. 48. Rtampara tatraprajna, the knowledge in that is called, filled with truth. The next aphorism will explain this. 49. Shrutanumana prajnabhyam anyavishaya vishasharthat, that the knowledge that is gained from testimony and inference is about common objects. That from the samadhi just mentioned is of a much higher order, being able to penetrate where inference and testimony cannot go. The idea is that we have to get our knowledge of ordinary objects by direct perception, and by inference therefrom, and from testimony of people who are competent. By people who are competent, the yogis always mean the rishis, or the seers of the thoughts recorded in the scriptures, the Vedas. According to them, the only proof of the scriptures is that they were the testimony of competent persons, yet they say the scriptures cannot take us to realization. We can read all the Vedas, and yet will not realize anything, but when we practice their teachings, then we attain to that state which realizes what the scriptures say, which penetrates where Patanjali Yoga Sutras 50 reason cannot go, and where the testimony of others cannot avail. This is what is meant by this aphorism, that realization is real religion, and all the rest is only preparation. Hearing lectures, or reading books, or reasoning, is merely preparing the ground, it is not religion. Intellectual assent, and intellectual dissent are not religion. The central idea of the yogis is that just as we come in direct contact with the objects of the senses, so religion can be directly perceived in a far more intense sense. The truths of religion, as God and soul, cannot be perceived by the external senses. I cannot see God with my eyes, nor can I touch him with my hands, and we also know that neither can we reason beyond the senses. Reason leaves us at a point quite indecisive. We may reason all our lives, as the world has been doing for thousands of years, and the result is that we find we are incompetent to prove or disprove the facts of religion. What we perceive directly we take as the basis, and upon that basis we reason. So it is obvious that reasoning has to run within these bounds of perception. It can never go beyond. The whole scope of realization, therefore, is beyond sense perception. The yogis say that man can go beyond his direct sense perception, and beyond his reason also. Man has in him the faculty, the power, of transcending his intellect even, and that power is in every being, every creature. By the practice of yoga that power is aroused, and then man transcends the ordinary limits of reason, and directly perceives things which are beyond all reason. 50. Taja sanskaro naya sanskara pratibandhi. The resulting impression from this samadhi obstructs all other impressions. We have seen in the foregoing aphorism that the only way of attaining to that superconsciousness is by concentration, and we have also seen that what hinder the mind from concentration are the past samskaras, impressions. All of you have observed that when you are trying to concentrate your mind, your thoughts wander. When you are trying to think of God, that is the very time which all these samskaras take to appear. At other times they are not so active, but when you want them not to be, they are sure to be there, trying their best to crowd inside your mind. Why should that be so? Why should they be much more potent at the time of concentration? It is because you are repressing them and they react with all their force. At other times they do not react. How countless these old past impressions must be, all lodged somewhere in the chit, ready, waiting like tigers to jump up. These have to be suppressed that the one idea which we like may arise, to the exclusion of the others. Instead, they are all struggling to come up at the same time. These are the various powers of the samskaras in hindering concentration of the mind, so this samadhi which has just been given is the best to be practiced, on account of its power of suppressing the samskaras. The samskara which will be raised by this sort of concentration will be so powerful that it will hinder the action of the others, and hold them in check.